Bill O'Reilly has some strong words here for Bernie Sanders. This ought to be good.
Far out there. In my lifetime, I have never seen a political candidate in his station as radical and as disassociated with reality as Bernie Sanders. Never.
Well,
Eugene McCarthy, George McGovern, Barry Goldwater, all of them pale. Ross Perot, all of them pale beside Bernie Sanders, who lives in a complete world of his own.
No, but you know why Bernie Sanders has the kind of surprising support, why he's exceeding expectations? When he talks about Wall Street too big to fail, he's hitting at people who share this feeling.
So what?
Right to the heart.
He says he's telling these teenagers, and when I use the word teenagers, it's a mental state, not a age state, because it's only teenagers. It's like American Bandstand people who can say, yeah, that's right, Bernie's going to break up the big banks, Katie, because he's not going to break them up. Because there are laws against a tyrannical president coming in and go, you know what, Arby's? I hate your roast beef. You're out of here. You can't do it, Bernie. Even if you want to do it, even if Ben and Jerry tell you can do it, you can't do it.
Maybe they should break up the big ice cream manufacturers and we would all be happier because we'd have more access to ice cream. Who knows?
Okay, but there's something startling taking place on the factor at this very moment. The radical leftist Juan Williams is agreeing with the rather conservative Katie Pavlik that what Bernie Sanders is saying, and millions of people are, I guess, apparently buying, is hooey. Hooey.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that was adorable. Look at some of the stuff he said. Bernie Sanders and what he's saying to these kids, these teenagers, these are like the youngins who watch the American Bandstand. The fuck are you talking? American Bandstand? Didn't that go off the air in like 1978? He's like, oh, these damn kids, get off my lawn with your Zima and your hula hoops and your Macarena. I don't like it none. Shoo now. What the fuck are you saying? This is, you know what this is? This is hooey. I think this is hooey. Fiddlesticks. As he makes fun of the younger generation for being out of touch, he's proving that he's out of touch. He's a dinosaur, man. And this is, you know, borne out in the numbers. Bill O'Reilly's, the average age of his audience, I think, is above 70. That's unbelievable. And he's got people watching him at home like, yeah, you tell these damn kids. That's right. Yeah, because Bernie Sanders is a socialist, and you're trying to save capitalism, Bill O'Reilly. Yoo-hoo! Which is the irony of this entire segment. Because, think about it. When Bernie talks about breaking up the big banks, what's he really talking about doing? Saving capitalism. See, Bill O'Reilly doesn't know this because he's an idiot. He's a political idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's been talking out of his ass for decades. But the whole point of breaking up the big banks is that, hey, these institutions are too big to fail. Meaning that if they fail, which is supposed to be allowed to happen in a capitalist context, if they fail, they'll bring down the U.S. economy with it. They could bring down the world economy with it, and then we'll need to bail them out. Again, bailing out is anti-capitalist. Bailing out is socialist and actually corporatist because you're bailing out these specific corporations. So they're too big to fail, which means they're too big to exist, which means they're a threat to capitalism. So the whole point of breaking them up is to break them up into smaller banks so that those smaller banks can compete within the confines of a capitalist system, and then that would help us, and that would move us in the right direction. But he's so fucking utterly clueless. He's like, this guy, he's so radical that he wants to save capitalism. Dude, but the thing that you're arguing against him for being some sort of socialist far-left person, he's proving he's not with the same policy you're attacking right now. God, he's so stupid. He's so stupid. And then also, like, that's his main point was breaking up the big banks. I proved he's a radical. Bill, again, when you look at his policy positions, not only are they not radical, they're fucking perfectly mainstream. They're mainstream in two ways. In an international context, so in the parameters of all modern nations. That's what most of them have. And also in the context of when you look at polling data in the United States of America, when you look at Democrats and Republicans and independents, when you look at the actual people, not the political establishment and the politicians, when you look at the people, the overwhelming majority agree with Bernie Sanders' policy positions. You name the position and I can tell you the number. 80% want to raise the minimum wage. 58% want to raise taxes on the rich. 60% say under no circumstance cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. 58% want to legalize marijuana, which is something that Bernie Sanders has called for. 51% want a Medicare for all single-payer system. Again, this idea of like, he's so out of touch. Ironically, that proves how out of touch you are. And for you to think he's some sort of far-left radical shows that you're totally ignorant of world politics. You're totally ignorant of the actual political spectrum that exists. And the projection is real because everything you're saying about him is true of you. He's the radical. No, you're the radical because you're against the things that the overwhelming majority of the American people are in favor of. And, he's a radical and he's anti-capitalist, even though you're the one that's apparently anti-capitalist because you're a corporatist because you want these too big to fail banks to exist and not to have real capitalism. So it's just always amazing to watch somebody like Bill O'Reilly who can assert things with complete and utter confidence. But then when you just do it like a little bit of fact checking and you know a little bit about political science and the economy, you go, oh man, he has no clue what he's talking about. None.